Good morning, and good morning. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marital Academy, and you're welcome to our Friday Live. Every Friday, we come to you live like this on this channel, teaching you one thing on marriage. And today will not be different. We're going to be teaching you one thing on marriage. So I hope that you have gotten yourself ready for just this 1 hour, just between 11 and 12. We talk about this thing and we move on just in 1 hour. And we always say it here, and I know all of you know what I'm about to say. If the marriages around you are bad, your marriage is at risk. I say it again. If the marriages around you are bad, your marriage is at risk. So you need to invite everybody around you here, family, friends, everybody, so that they can begin to come and learn something about marriage. If not, they will influence your marriage negatively. Did you just hear what I said? If you don't get people to influence and bring them into this place, they will influence you with the negative news that is happening in their marriage. And before you know what's happening, you begin to exhibit the same thing in your marriage, because bad news is contagious. So invite 10 people right now so that they can come and hear what you are learning. And it's interesting that today we're talking about influence. So how to influence your spouse without force. Yes, you can influence what your spouse thinks, says, without force, without shouting, without nagging. It is very, very possible. That's what we are talking about today. And I'm sure many of you want to really know this, because many people have come to me to say, I don't know how to get my spouse to do this. I know this is the right thing for us to do, but my spouse is just refusing. She won't just budge. He won't just listen to me. How do I influence my spouse? Let's start by defining what influence is, right? So influence is the capacity to have an effect on a character, development, or behavior of somebody or something, or the effect itself. So influence is a capacity to have effect on somebody. That's the summary. That's, you have that capacity. You are able to have an effect on somebody's way of behaving, way of talking, way of doing anything. That's what influence is. And of course, you know that in leadership, this is one quality a leader must have: the ability to influence his followers or everybody around him. So influencing your spouse is not about manipulation. No. We're not saying how to manipulate your spouse. No. You influence your spouse to do the right thing. Oh, let me quickly say, this influence must be for the right thing. Because some people actually influence their spouses to do the wrong thing. Yes. I've had a couple who came to me, that the spouse was the one who influenced the other to start taking drugs. It was influence also. So the man was not taking drugs. The woman was into drugs even before they got married. They got married and the woman started influencing the man, and the man started taking drugs also. So if you can do negative influence, then it means you can do positive influence. And so we're talking today about positive influence. So you don't manipulate, you don't nag, you don't control. The word control is not it. It's the word influence. Ability to have an effect. So in this, it's about the way you live, how you inspire, how you can make the other person look up to you when it comes to matters of marriage. That's what influence is. So you're not trying to dominate. You're not trying to overshadow. No, you are trying to direct or redirect or guide or show the way. These are the kind of words that define what influence is. Not control or force or dominating. No. So you need that consistent force of peace, wisdom, to be able to craft out ways to influence your spouse. You see, in a marriage, husband should influence the wife should influence the husband. Both of them should influence each other positively. And I've been married for the last 16 years, and my beautiful wife is here listening also, Wendy Ologe. I've been married for the last 16 years. We have influenced each other positively. In fact, so positively that the world is studying us today and saying this couple, there's something about them. One of those somethings is our ability to influence each other positively. So when I want to get my wife to do something, I influence her to do it. When my wife wants to get me to do something, she influences me to do it. No force. No force whatsoever. And we're going to be, going on to talk about this more so that you can start seeing maybe where you've missed it and where you need to get it right. I hope somebody is following. And have you invited somebody? Please invite somebody right now. Just put it there, invite somebody, let them begin to come into this stream and begin to watch. And you who is here, please click the subscribe button if you are not subscribed. Click the notification button to make sure you get our videos as soon as they come out. And ensure you share this link with everybody, family, friends, colleagues, church members, clergy members, everybody. Share it so that they can also learn alongside you. So when it comes to influence, it needs to be attractive. You need to attract the other person to do that thing. There are some celebrities that the way they dress attracts other people to dress that way too. So they have influence. I was watching a documentary once of one of these celebrities, and she realized that she had so much influence, so she decided to go into fashion. And because the fashion was hard, it wasn't necessarily the best fashion. She didn't make the best shoes or bags or anything, but because it was from her, that influence made her sell. And so anything that was in fact, at a point in time, she went into perfumes. Anything she released and her name was on it, everybody bought. That's influence. And you should have that influence on your spouse. So let's look at what actually happens in marriage. So what happens in marriage when it comes to influence? The first thing is that most of the times there is poor communication. You see, this communication matter is a big matter in marriage. There's hardly a day that I counsel couples that we don't talk about communication. By the way, I counsel couples every week, every day, Mondays to Fridays. So if you are having issues in your marriage and you don't know what to do, you've tried what you know, you don't know what to do, please reach out for counseling. There's nothing wrong with counseling. You just sit down with me, we have a conversation, and we'll find out what the real issues are and chat a way forward. You want to book for counseling, please reach out to the numbers that are scrolling on your screen. Just reach out to any of those numbers and just put counseling there, and they'll give you all the details of how to book your session. Let's move on. So we need to understand that you need to attract influence. So you need to do things that you become so attractive that the person wants to do what you are doing. Even negative influence, that's how it works. You see people on a campus, they influence other people to smoke, to drink, to womanize, to chase men. All those things are influence. They influence people to join cults. It's influence. So you can have that kind of influence on your wife, you can have on your husband also. But one of the problems, like I said, is communication. You see, the three major issues in marriage: communication, finance, and sex. Those are the three major issues in marriage. And of these three issues, the most important is communication. If you've listened to me, you've heard me saying this over and over again. So if you're having issues with communication in your marriage, please, please, and please do something about it. Sort it out, because it will affect your ability to influence. If you cannot communicate well with your spouse, you can't influence your spouse, because part of influence is communication. There are some people who, when they stand, and I'm sure you've experienced those kind of people before, when they stand, you need to beg them, because they can cause a riot just by what they say. I remember in those days in the university, we had some troublemakers like that. And anytime they wanted to cause riot, they just stand somewhere and just start talking, and people will gather, students will gather. The next thing, students have gone on rampage just from one conversation. Now, that's negative influence, but it just shows you the power of influence. Influence is a very powerful skill that we must have in marriage and use in marriage. I was I was I was watching something in Kano State the other time, and I now realize that this their red cap that they wear, that all the government officials who wear, started with, I think it was Konkoso. Yeah, correct me somebody if I'm wrong. It was Konkoso that brought this branding, and as he brought it, it influenced them years after. Konkoso has been, how many years ago? Years after now, they're still all wearing that. That's influence. The man didn't tell them, everybody, you must wear this. He started wearing it. People wanted to identify with him. Probably they felt that there was something about him that was, he had some charisma. And so they went with him and he influenced them. And they started wearing it. Number two, what happens in marriage? The fear of rejection. The fear of rejection makes people run away from trying to influence their spouse because they are thinking, if I try to tell her this or show him that, will my spouse agree? And they just feel, he may just say no. I won't do this. I will not. So the person will just say, you know what? Let me just avoid this topic for now. Or let me look for somebody else to influence. You must learn that rejection is a natural thing in life. You know, a lot of people were not brought up with the ability to say no. A lot of people were not taught that no is just a decision of the other person. It can't be yes all the time. And if you are not brought up like that, when you hear no, you actually have a problem with it. So in order not to hear the no, you decide not to even try at all. And that's it. When you are afraid of failure, you have already failed. Because your fear of failure will make you not even attempt it. So you don't even know if you could have passed or if you would have failed. So the fear of rejection is a big hindrance to influence. And if you are nurturing that kind of fear, I want to tell you to release it, because it's going to continually stop your influence. So you're not going to have that influence. The next one is giving up syndrome. Giving up syndrome. Some people have this syndrome, giving up. They try something, it doesn't work. You know, the other one, they don't try at all. That's fear of rejection. They don't try at all. This one, they try something, it doesn't work, and they just give up. And say, no, okay, there's no need. I've tried to tell him this thing, and he's not listening, so I just give up. How come you give up so easily? I keep saying this thing, and I keep wondering. And please, wonder with me. How come you give up so easily when it comes to your marriage? But you don't give up that easily when it comes to your work, your business. When you want your spouse to buy you something or to do something for you, you don't give up. But when it is time for you to influence your spouse, maybe to read with you or to do a course, it now becomes a problem. You can see that the problem is that giving up syndrome. Don't give up. Look for a way. Many of you have heard me saying it several times, and all heard my wife saying it, that when we got married, my wife was a career person. Anything business or anything taking her to go and become an entrepreneur, anything like that, she did not like it. She didn't want it. And here was I, someone who always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Started off my work life as an entrepreneur, then went into paid employment and was looking for a way to get out of paid employment. And so I kept trying to influence her and influence her. There were times she told me outrightly that I was trying to destroy her career in the NGO world. Yes, because she just felt, I'm doing so well here. Why do you think we need to do something else? You're working in the bank, I'm working in the NGO. Is this not good? And I was like, no, there's so much more ahead of us. I have seen it. I have the vision. God showed me so much. It's not here. This is a training ground for us. So I kept influencing her and influencing her until she finally agreed and stepped away from the NGO world and entered the world of the entrepreneur. Today, I am glad to announce to you that she's one of the biggest entrepreneurs we have in Nigeria. What happened? Influence. So I didn't give up. I kept on pushing and kept on pushing and kept on pushing until she accepted what I was saying, until it made sense to her. Today, even I am benefiting from what it is that I pushed her to do. Number 4, entitlement mentality. Yeah, this is a hindrance. Entitlement. So you feel entitled to your spouse's yes. Let me use it that way. Your spouse's yes. You feel that if I tell you to do this thing, you must do it. Who says she must do it? Why is it must? So it is that force you are trying to bring. That is what is making her or making him reject. Because you have the entitlement mentality, you just feel that, well, I'm his wife. So anything I say, he must do. Yes, you are right. Anything actually he should do. But when you put it in the sense of entitlement, then the person will stop you in your tracks. The ego of your spouse is the next one, number 5. The ego of your spouse can actually hinder you being able to influence him or her, especially the men. Men have been known to have ego. And their ego, I always say that their ego is like a phoenix rising from the back. When the ego rises up, it doesn't go down. No. You are no more talking to your husband. You are talking to your husband's ego. You are no longer talking to your husband. You are talking to your husband's ego. And you see a lot of people struggling with this and trying to break that barrier of getting through the ego of their husbands. And it becomes a hindrance to you influencing. Because once that ego is up, anything you are saying, the man is not listening to you. Of course, women also have ego problems, but it's not as much as the men. So the ego of your spouse is another thing that is standing in between you and your ability to influence. The next one is arrogance of knowledge. I know some of you have heard me talk about this before. Arrogance of knowledge. You see, everybody came empty. We learned the things that we know here on earth, either by formal education or by informal education. We learned it here. Or by experience, we learned it here. So if you learned things, why do you think that your spouse should not be given the opportunity to learn? Why do you push it on your spouse as if your spouse is foolish? You just learned one new thing today. The way you're already talking about it to your spouse, you're talking like, don't you know this thing? Shouldn't you know this thing? Shouldn't you know this is what you're supposed to do? And as far as you're concerned, you're trying to influence him. You're not influencing him or her. You're actually bullying that person. So you need to avoid bullying because of arrogance of knowledge. You know too much, and so you decide that no, you must bully this your husband. It doesn't work that way. This arrogance of knowledge has robbed many marriages of beauty because one spouse has just refused to yield to humility. That's it. You don't want to be humble about. You learned this thing. No, you didn't bring it from heaven. You learned it here. You are in the TIP. You learned how to parent well. You were beating your children before. Now you learned that beating is not the solution. You now want to force that knowledge on your husband. So he makes a mistake and hits the child. You say, are you okay? Don't you know that you are hurting this child? What is wrong with you? You even collect the cane from his hand and maybe you even hit him also. That's not influence, man. That's bullying. Influence needs you to be humble. To remember that even that thing you want to show the other person, you also learned it from somewhere. And then to be humble enough to teach the person instead of force it down the person's throat. The next one, number 7, is negative influence from others. Yes, this negative influence from others is real. Sometimes the way you try to influence your spouse is because of something you have seen somewhere. So it doesn't mean that that is the right thing. But you've seen it somewhere and you just feel that I want to implement it in my own home, and your spouse is feeling this thing you are trying to influence me on, it's not right, it's not okay, or there's a better way of doing this thing. But you have just decided that because your friend Joshua did that thing and it worked like that, then you people must do it also. Why don't you sit down and have a conversation with that wife of yours so that you can get a buy-in? So negative influence from others is another one. One of the worst is number 8, lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to influence. You've been trying. I hear people telling me, Coach, I've tried everything. My husband has refused to come for counseling. I say, no, you've not tried everything. If you've really tried everything, then you would have come. You've only tried what you know. Please put it there in the comment section. I want somebody to put it there in the comment section. I've only tried what I know. You've only tried what you know. There is so much that you don't know. I was having a counseling session yesterday, and I was telling the couple that the knowledge that I have on marriage, I've written 16 books on marriage, but I'm still reading books every day on marriage. I don't have all the knowledge. There's so much knowledge in every aspect of life. It is pride that will tell you that you know it all. If you know it all, go and do research and bring out new theses. So you need to be careful the way you move around without knowledge. A lot of people are empty barrels. I don't mean to insult you today, but I'm just trying to tell you the magnitude of the lack of knowledge. A lot of people are empty barrels, and it is painful because those empty barrels actually have the potential to be full barrels, but they've refused to open the cork and let in the knowledge. They say there's a course, you won't attend. They say buy a book, you will not do. Come for counseling, you will not do. Okay, come for church program. Church marriage program is free, it's usually free. Come for free and come and attend the marriage program. You say no. So how do you help yourself? And you keep saying, oh, my wife is not helping this marriage. Oh, my husband is really not helping this marriage. So who do we believe? A lack of knowledge. You need to really be hungry for the knowledge of marriage. Today, my wife is number 1 parent coach in Africa, maybe in the world now. She did a lot of studies to get there. Have you seen my wife's library? I thought I knew how to read. My wife came and showed me that I don't know how to read. My wife reads voraciously. In fact, I'm having to learn reading again from her. That's how. So it's not by luck, it's not by fluke. People look at me and say, how come you have so much wisdom when you talk? It's not by fluke, sir. I have studied, I have read, I have gained experience. I am continually gaining knowledge. Every month I'm reading a book on marriage. So why do you think I will not shine and also have my own marriage shining? So a lack of knowledge, big issue. And then the last one we look at today is a lack of moral standing. Yes, a lack of moral standing. So you yourself, you know you are not good, and you are trying to tell somebody to do the right thing, but you yourself, you are not doing the right thing. So you can't influence. You are telling your husband when you see him every time that you're always on the screen. Why are you always on the screen? But immediately you finish saying that, you pick up your own screen and you're looking at it. So how are you going to influence him? If you want to influence him, you drop your phone when you come back home, pick a book and be reading. He'll say, what are you doing? Say, I'm reading a book. You can read one also. We can even read together. You know, in the couples conclave, we do something sometimes called reading together, where we give a book and one spouse is reading. Maybe you read the first chapter, you explain to your spouse will read the second chapter, explain to you. So that way it kind of becomes interesting. So it's not boring reading the book. So each person is trying to read his own part in a bid to explain to the other person. And we do this in the form of book reviews. So we do book reviews by monthly, where we give books to different groups in the couples conclave to read, review, and come and tell us what they've learned. And by the time everybody tells us, as the book is shared, it's almost like we have lived the whole book. And for those of you who are asking what the couples conclave is, stay tuned. Immediately after this class, we will play you a video telling you what the couples conclave is. And we urge you to join us in 2026. It's a place you want to be in. So these are 9 reasons why influence is difficult in marriage. What happens actually in marriage? 9 reasons. I've said number 1, poor communication. Number 2, fear of rejection. Number 3, giving up syndrome. Number 4, entitlement mentality. Number 5, ego of your spouse. Number 6, arrogance of knowledge. Number 7, negative influence from others. Number 8, lack of knowledge. Number 9, lack of moral standing. These are 9 things that affect communication or that affect influence in marriage. Now, we're now going to go to how you now influence your spouse without force. So we've told you the hindrance, so to say. Now we want to start telling you what you need to do to influence your spouse without using force, without what we call gra in Nigeria, softly. But as we do that, let's go for this short water break, okay? And then in just 1 minute, we'll be back here. So don't go away, please. Don't go away. Ensure you remain here because we are now going to tell you what you need to do. Okay, so please ensure you stay tuned here, like you can see scrolling down on the screen, while we take this short water break, and then we will be back. Hi, my name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor and founder of the Marital Academy. And I'm going to be at the TIP Summit, Canada. It's going to hold in Calgary on the 5th of July. Registration is ongoing right now. I'm also going to be in the US for the TIP Summit US. It will hold in Maryland, and that will be on the 12th of July. You can also begin to register for it today. Finally, in the same USA, Maryland, I'm going to be at the Dads Gathering organized by Dads University, and it's going to be on the 13th of July. All this will be time for me to meet you, teach you, and guide you on everything marriage and parenting. Join me there. All right. And I am back. I hope you went and took your water break also. And did you see that advert? Yes. I am actually going to be with my wife, and we're going to be in the US, we're going to be in Canada, and we're going to be at the TIP Summit. So I hope that you will be there. I hope you are going to join us there at the summit. If you are in Canada, please, we're going to be in Calgary. The details are out there. And if you are in USA, we are going to be in Maryland for the TIP Summit. It's going to be a huge gathering, of people to come and learn parenting. These children that God has given us, how do we parent them well to turn them out as wholesome children? Very, very important. And I hope that everyone will be there. I'll be so happy to see you. Please, when you see me, say hi, tell me your name, take a selfie with me, and we will take it up from there. So let's continue in this topic that we have been talking about, how to influence your spouse without force. How to influence your spouse without force. First step, lead by example, not by instruction. Lead by example, not by instruction. Many times we try to lead by instructions. You just want to tell your spouse, do this, do that. Sometimes you don't need to tell your spouse will just start doing the thing, even without you saying it. Sometimes you only need to say it gently once, and your spouse will happily just do that thing or go that way that you want him or her to go. So, but this is better when you are doing the thing yourself. So they change because of what they see. So you be patient. Don't be in a hurry to influence your spouse. Be patient. Take it one step at a time. Let them observe you. Communicate better. Communicate calmly. When they see you communicating calmly, even they that used to be aggravated before, they become calm. Because the truth of the matter is that your action has more power than your advice. I need someone to write that down. Your action, say my action, write it down. My action has more power than my advice. And please, I need you to confirm that you can hear me and that you can see me clearly. Can you hear and see me clearly? All right. Okay. Great, great, great. Beautiful. And I hope you are following me. Please put it there if you are following me. Are you following? Follow, because these steps will really do a lot to help you. So that's the first step that you need to take. You need to lead by example. Be in front so that your spouse will see you doing the things and will be encouraged to also do those things. The next one, number 2, is that you need to speak vision, not just correction. You need to speak vision, not just correction. Speak is like prophecy. Speak into what you want your spouse to be. Don't be there condemning your spouse all the time and trying to correct your spouse. Look at your spouse and say, I know that you really love me and you really want to do the things to make me know that you love me. But I think you need to try a little bit more in showing me. Can you speak my love language even better? You see, you've tried to tell your spouse what he or she is not doing well without outrightly correcting. Are you following me? So learn to talk in ways that make the person feel better, because people rise more easily when they feel believed in, not criticized. They rise up easily when they feel that you really believe in me. Oh, I'm going to be a better version of myself. But when you criticize them, you push them down, push them down. Now, this is not to say that you should not point out wrongdoing. Please don't miss it. Because some people will now say, well, I don't want to criticize. So anything he's doing, I'll just allow him. Anything she's doing, I'll just allow her. That's not what I have said. What I have simply said is that in that criticism, it must be constructive. So tell the person what you want to see in the person as you are correcting the person. It even gives the person a vision. It gives the person a goalpost to work towards. So speak vision, not just correction. This is very, very, very important. Please speak vision, not just correction. Number 3, use gentle, timed conversations. Part of the problems you are having is that you are talking at the wrong time. You are trying to influence at the wrong time. That your wife came back from work like you, went straight into the kitchen, started rustling up some food for you guys. You sat down, you ate. She still cleaned up the kitchen. She is tired. You didn't even help her while she was doing all these things. She's exhausted. You can see that she's exhausted. Immediately you say, hey, sit down. There's something I want to tell you. I think that you need to stop doing this thing you are doing and start doing this other one. At that time, your timing is wrong. So choose an atmosphere that is good, a timing that is good. Sometimes when you want to have deep conversations with your spouse, you should actually tell your spouse that I want to have a conversation with you. When do you think you will be free for us to sit and have this conversation? So that she will be the one to give you the date and time. That way there can't be any backing out. So please be careful with your timing. And I said use gentle conversation. So your tone. Sometimes it's your tone that messes up things. Yes, your tone of voice. So you're talking to your husband, though. It's not that you're talking in the office or something. You're talking to your husband, and your tone has gone up. And because a man's greatest need is respect, he has tuned out. So anything you're saying, all that influence, there's no influence again. He has tuned out. You are talking to your wife and you are just shouting at this poor lady, making her feel less of herself. She has tuned out. In fact, she's afraid. So you can't influence her that way. You can only scare her, but you can't influence her. So you need to get your timing right. Be gentle about it. The next one is stop trying to win, start trying to connect. Stop trying to win, start trying to connect. My wife wrote a book. In fact, her very first book is titled Connect to Correct. Connect to Correct. And she wrote that book trying to teach parents that, see, these children you are trying to correct all the time. Do you know if you connect with them, you will easily correct them? In fact, sometimes you don't need to say anything, they will correct themselves. Same thing in marriage. You must look for how to connect with your spouse in such a way that when you are telling your spouse something, your spouse feels calm. One of the ways of connecting with your spouse is appreciating your spouse. Do you know that? If you appreciate your spouse regularly, you begin to connect with that your spouse. Appreciate him for the small things. Appreciate her for the tiny things that she does. Even if they are the things she's supposed to do or he's supposed to do, appreciate it. Oh, wow, the way you wash those clothes, lovely. Man, this your ironing. There's nobody that can iron like you. Wow, this food was delicious. I thank you. You're always giving us good nutrition. Do you understand? Appreciate your spouse. You will find out that it will be easy to connect to that your spouse. So remember that listening can do much more than arguing. Sometimes listen to that your spouse. What your spouse is trying to say, the reason your spouse is trying to say for the influence you are trying to give may be worthwhile and may even save you. All right, number 5. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can. There are some things you can't control. Stop trying to control what you cannot control. Focus on what you can control. Your spouse has a character that you don't like. You may not be able to change that character, but you can change the environment. And that change of environment may make the spouse change the character. Let me give you an example. I had a client once who said that the husband, once he comes home, he's angry and shouting on everybody from when he enters till he sleeps. And this happens every day. So I asked her, I said, how is your home? What exactly does he shout about? And that's why she now started telling me, well, sometimes, children, they will spill milk on the chair, their books will be scattered on the ground. I said, okay. Now, you may not have control over his heart to change him so that he doesn't start getting angry. But if you change the things that are happening around him, make sure that when he comes back, the house is clean, is tidy, is organized, the children have put away their toys and all of that, you will find out that the anger will start reducing. So focus on what you can control. Focus on managing your emotions and your reactions. So when your spouse does something, don't react in a way that tomorrow you will regret. Set boundaries with grace. Let your spouse know that when it gets to here, you're actually crossing a boundary. Keep growing personally. My God, I don't know how I wish I can drum this with 1,000 drums into your ears. You heard me saying that I still read marriage books all the time. So it's important that you keep growing in yourself, keep developing yourselves, keep building. Look, if you don't read, if you don't do courses, there's no rocket science. You would at best be a mediocre. So it is important that you focus on the things you can do, and one of the things you can do is grow. Do you know sometimes your growth will help your spouse, will help you influence your spouse, your growth? When your spouse sees that you've become a better version of yourself, when your spouse sees that you are now better in the way you do things because you have done some self-development, your spouse is endeared to you. And once your spouse is endeared to you, it's easy to influence anybody who is endeared to you. Did you hear what I said? It is very easy to influence anybody who is endeared to you. And you can get that when you grow personally. Now, the next one is that you need to pray, plant, and be patient. Pray, plant, and be patient. So, say there's something that you've been trying to tell your wife to do, and you've tried and tried and tried. You need to pray about it. Ask God, God, can you help to influence my wife to agree to do this thing? That's number one. Then begin to plant the words, as in sell this thing to her. That's number two. And then at the end of the day, be patient and watch what God will do. Number three. When we first got married, so sometimes I'll be talking to my wife, and because I was older and had more experience, of course, there's some things that I will know and try to tell her, and she won't just be in sync at that point in time. Do you know what I used to do? I had one prayer, and I didn't tell her until years later. I had one prayer. When we go into church, I will pray that the pastor will talk about what I have just prayed. I mean, what I have tried to tell her. I will pray when we get into church that the pastor, as he's speaking, let him make a comment on that thing my wife and I had a conversation on. It has never failed me. Every day that I make that prayer, the pastor talks about something that affects that thing. Then my wife comes home and says, that thing you were saying, now I understand what you are saying. And inside me, I'll just smile and say, well, you don't know, my prayer is working. So pray, pray, pray. You have power in prayer. There is power in prayer. God has given you power in prayer. Open your mouth and pray. God will not do for you things that you don't ask for. So sometimes you are wondering, why is God not answering me? It's because you've not even asked. You haven't asked to enter somewhere. You say, why are they not opening the door? Why don't you knock first and see if they open the door or not? So plant the seeds of whatever it is that you want to influence your spouse on. Plant it. And you'll be very, very shocked that you start getting that response from them. Number 7, respect their free will. Yes, everybody has free will, and it is our duty to respect it. Respect the free will of your spouse. So don't try to control your spouse. Don't try to force your spouse. That's what we're saying. When you have told your spouse something, relax a little. Allow him or her to use free will to take the decision. So you've told your husband something, and that's why sometimes women nag. So they told the husband something, the husband said, okay, let me think about it. Then you say it again the next 1 hour. Then you say it again the next 1 hour. You are saying it every hour like that. After a while, the man will get tired. Why not give it a break? Say it today, except it's a matter of life and death. Say the thing now. Wait till tomorrow before you mention it again, or 2 days later before you mention it again. You take this, adopt this, you will find out that you would have allowed your spouse to exercise free will. So respect their free will. Let them be ready. Prep them. You heard me say this thing I was saying about my wife, how long it took me to convince her to go on her own. It took years, like 10 years. You must be patient. This thing of influence is a patient work. So you must be patient. Don't get carried away. Take it one step at a time. These are very, very important, very, very vital points. And these are the things that you can do to influence your spouse. The most important influence does not shout, does not nag. The most important influence talks gently and gets the buy-in of the spouse. I hope somebody learned something here today, and I hope you are as excited as me today. And I am so excited about what we've learned today. And I want to ask you to be courageous enough to look at how to influence your spouse. Be courageous. Don't be lily-livered. Stand on your 2 feet, influence your spouse. All right. This is very good, and I had promised you that you are going to get a video immediately after this. I'm showing you what the couples conclave is all about. And that video is going to come up in a minute now, and I'll just give you a short brief of the couples conclave. So the couples conclave is our 11-month rejuvenation and accountability program, where we help couples hold your hands and move with you, working from you year on year, teaching you marriage. It's a community that we have built where you can come and learn how to manage your marriage very well. Communities create cultures. So when you enter any community, you begin to imbibe the culture of that community. That's what happens in the couples conclave. When you enter the couples conclave, you begin to imbibe the culture of the couples conclave. And before you know what's happening, your marriage is blossoming. So we have tips, daily tips of marriage that we share every day, every weekday. We have weekly bonding activities where we give you an activity to do with your spouse so that you people can at least have one thing in a week. You should have more activities, but at least this one activity helps you throughout. Then we have monthly master classes where I come and I teach you on marriage. Then we have book reading and reviews that we do. We have gender conferences. We have the men's conference and the women's conference that happen simultaneously at the same time. So the women gather somewhere, the wives gather, the husbands gather. All of this is virtual, by the way. The entire or almost the entire couples conclave is virtual. The only physical part of the couples conclave is our annual retreat that we do once a year. We gather ourselves together in a beautiful resort and we have our retreat. It's a beautiful time, 3 days or 4 days of non-stop joy and learning. And you see, we play, we enjoy ourselves. That's what the couples conclave is. Every couple should join the couples conclave. Every couple. This year, 2025, we have over 500 couples in the couples conclave. That's over 1,000 people. And registration has actually started for 2026. So you will see the details now popping up on your screen of how to register for the couples conclave. So make sure you reach out to the number, get all the details, and make sure you register. This is where we're going to be calling it a day today with you. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and I'll see you again next Friday at another Friday Live, where we will be learning something on marriage again. As I leave you with these videos. Please don't go off until all the videos show themselves. Please enjoy. The Couples Conclave is that 11-month accountability and rejuvenation program of the Marriage Seal Academy. In this program, we bring couples together from all over the world to join hands, learn, and be taught on the things that you need to do to make sure your marriage is always on fire. It begins every year in January all through to November of the same year. We take a break in December and start again the next January. One of the things that you get to do in the Couples Conclave is that every single day there is a tip on marriage that is shared to all the couples. Every week we have a bonding activity that helps couples to come together and bond. Every month we give one master class on one particular aspect of marriage. And once every year we have a physical retreat where we take ourselves to a resort and have a nice time for a few days. We've had retreats in Abuja, in Lagos, and we're going to have the next one in Uyo. Over the past 4 years that we have had this couples conclave, we've had a lot of testimonials from couples who come in as maybe fighters in some cases, and then they eventually become lovers because they've come to learn what it is that they have not known on marriage. There's so much that you can learn in marriage, and the couples conclave creates that community where you can come and create that culture of the right marriage, the way God ordained it to be. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and I am the chief host of the Couples Conclave. Join us for the 2026 Couples Conclave program. Registration details are immediately after this. Please enjoy.
Marriage is a beautiful journey, a sacred bond filled with love, laughter, and purpose. But like every journey, it's not always smooth. Sometimes the road gets rocky, misunderstandings arise, communication breaks down, the spark begins to fade. But here's the truth: you don't have to face it alone. Just as you wouldn't drive through a storm without guidance, you shouldn't navigate the storms of marriage without the right direction. That's where marital counseling comes in. Not as a last resort, but as a lifeline. A safe space where hearts are heard, perspectives are restored, and love is rekindled. Don't just hope your marriage gets better, work towards it with wisdom, clarity, and practical tools that create lasting change. With over a decade of proven experience, Kunle Ologe has guided countless couples back to connection and purpose through biblical principles, compassionate listening, and practical counsel that works. Whether you're newly married, feeling distant, or at the edge of giving up, there's hope and there's help. Book your virtual or on-site session today with Kunle Ologe and take the first step towards healing, growth, and a marriage that thrives. Because with the right knowledge applied at the right time, your love story can be rewritten.